scratchings. Of no account. The cub speaks. The threat of spanking never kept the children from poking through my things. Why should it deter you? It is a ritual, or it describes one at least, practiced by druids of certain esoteric circles. If they be learned and powerful enough, the practitioner of this ritual might slow their aging, extend their life well beyond its natural reach. In greener days, I might have been strong enough to do it. I might be yet, with the right preparations. I make no plans, only contingencies. Any druid. So, yes, you might aspire to it if you wished, but the scroll is not the ritual itself. Only part of my research into how it is worked. Oh, you really think I'm pretty? Just a moment while I remember how to bat my eyelashes. Do not look at me like that. I have been content to see the span of my natural years. A privilege far too few in this world can claim. I do not speak of clinging to life for its own sake, I just look back on that life's work and I wonder, is it done? The dead three plague the world still. The city still falls prey to small minds like Gortash or lost souls like Orin. It is every harper's hope to be a light that drives out darkness. But I've lived long enough to see so many of those lights burn out, while the shadows cling stubbornly on. Knowing that, isn't it our duty to burn on if we can? To fight for as long as we are able?
I wallowed in darkness for too long. If I could extend the time I have left in the light, I think I'd take it.
Perhaps. But if the darkness is really going to swallow everything as you Sharan say, it should at least have to work for its supper.
You're preaching to the doomed choir, ma'am.
You've done more than your share of fighting already, Karlach. If there's one person I would trust to make the most of a longer life, it's you.
I'd cling to life forever if it means I could keep Baldur's Gate safe. But time marches me to a different fate.
And if it does? That does not mean you cannot dig your heels in a little.
Your duty, perhaps. Mine was quite the opposite. Every breath I take, however gratefully, is proof of my dereliction.
Or proof that you plan to fight on, rather than take the easier path.
Immortality is only as good as the life you're living. An eternity of luxury sounds a lot better than an eternity of struggle.
I'd have thought time would dull either. But I suppose I should know better than to argue with an immortal.
You have more in common with my people than you'd think. On the astral plane, our finest knights can live for millennia, and they devote every thought to vanquishing Gale.
Or pleasing their own undying queen, who lives on to serve... what purpose, exactly?
To wish to live is natural. But so too is to let go, when the moment arrives.
You see, I should know better than to philosophize in the company of an archdruid.
To accept death is to surrender.
And to fight it is to doom yourself to defeat.
Minsc does not understand the question. You will live forever, Jaheira.
Of course I will, Berserker. And you will sprout soft and golden locks from that shining skull. Well answered. Of course. It is our way. Just as it is Death's way to meet us along the path, gently oblivious to whatever it is we want. I spent most of my life fighting those who tried to escape their end. Ketheric, Irenicus, Sarevok. That is not company I would like to keep. In truth, I had put this ritual from my mind. Until last light. Trapped in that darkness. I turned to my research again. What if I was a little stronger? As fast as I once had been. Then you came. And made the question moot. But I kept this. Just in case, I told myself. A final resort. Perhaps you were not the savior you seemed. I had learned better than to think of life as some simple tale after all. There is no guarantee of happy endings, or true heroes. I believe that still. But when I look on all that we have achieved since, I wonder perhaps it is not heroes we need. Only people who are willing to try. I do not know what manner of story that makes. But I do know that without an ending, it would be no story at all. So I will accept mine, when and however it comes. As for this city story, well, that is entirely your problem now, Cub. Ha! Do not thank me for slinging a weight around your neck. I might start to feel bad. I do mean what I say. But I am also a harper. In every honeyed word, there is a hook. I have no plans to lie down and die. Well, perhaps a little lying down when all of this is done. And age better, too. She who is most weathered is also most wise. Do not be so sure. I was not always so soft and agreeable as I have become. And death might find us at any moment. If I cannot meet it with a bit of cheerful futility, why bother being a harper at all? But I do not plan on going anywhere just yet. And besides, you still have a tadpole in your skull. You are almost certainly going to die first.
Jaheira's wisdom is plain to see. One of the greatest ways in which you can serve nature is to surrender your body back to it when the time comes. It may be some centuries before my flesh is ready to yield, but I hope I shall be bold enough to follow in her path when the day comes.
A hero of legend, passing the figurative torch onto us. We'd best not disappoint her. The thought of a scolding from Jaheira's ghost is not one I particularly relish.
Who among us hasn't wondered what it would be like to live forever? But I think you've got the right idea. Better I live fully and meaningfully than to pine for an always and forever I could never achieve.
Just when I think I can't respect Jaheira anymore, she hits me with a grenade right to the heart. I couldn't agree with her more. There's more to life than time. It isn't about how long you're here. It's about what you do with whatever time you've got. And Jaheira? Well, I don't think anyone spent their hours better than her.
Should I ever take to the astral plane, I'll have no need of scrolls to secure my immortality. Still, it is becoming of a mortal to accept their fate, as Jaheira does. Not everyone is meant to live longer than the stars.
Jaheira has steel in her, I'll say that. It's not easy to walk away from immortality. Most people will have held on to that scroll for as long as they could bear to, and probably a century or two longer than that.
So Jaheira is willing to embrace mortality, the ultimate form of retirement, and that's thanks to impressing her through your actions. Quite the compliment.
I would live forever if I could. Death is not rest or relief. It is only ever a form of defeat. In destroying the scroll, Jaheira has shown her readiness to give up the fight. We must not follow her example.